interesting, relaxing topic today. Today, I'm going to discuss with you right there, the best, most talented, maybe, NBA player at every age in the NBA. I know it should be kind of fun. Some players at some of the same ages are going to be a very controversial topic. There are obviously a lot of great stars in today's NBA, so we're going to discuss which one is the best one at every age. So make sure you leave a like on tonight's video if you do like the video, or even if you just want to leave a like on the video. That means so much to me. Thank you so much if you do leave a like on today's video. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I say this at the start of all my videos. We're doing a giveaway at 7.5k. We're doing a cash giveaway for all the love and support you guys have given me over the past couple of years. Just thank you guys so much. And yeah, make sure you check out yesterday's video if you haven't already checked out yesterday's video. We did a very nice, maybe my last NBA 2K rebuild for a couple of at least weeks of the Phoenix Suns, obviously the runner-ups of the NBA Finals. So make sure you check out that video if you are into more basketball, more rebuild sort of topics. Rebuilding the Phoenix Suns. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that is about it. So I think we can finally get started with tonight's video. Alright, so getting into this topic. Also, sorry if you can hear in the background some outside noise. I think someone's doing yard work or something. I do apologize for that. But with this topic of, the best player at every NBA age, I guess you could say, I guess you could technically start this conversation at the age of 18, but those are rookies coming into this upcoming NBA draft, which the draft is the 29th, with which I think on the 27th, 26th, I'm going to be posting my own mock draft video, which should be kind of interesting, so make sure you look out for that. But I guess if you wanted to get more into that conversation, I guess the technical best player at the age of 18 is not even a player in the NBA yet, but I think we can all agree that the best player at the age of 18 is Cade Cunningham. He's obviously going to be drafted. He's probably most likely 99% going to be the number one pick. It's Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is hopefully going to be the sort of next best thing of the NBA. Obviously with players like LaMelo Ball, and all those sort of younger guys, Zion Williamson, and all these sort of young and upcoming guys, he's also going to be in that conversation of, being the next really great star in the NBA. People really compare his game to sort of like a James Harden type of style, because he's great with the ball in his hand. He can create his own shot. He's a pretty decent jump shooter as of right now. His defense can be a lot better, and it definitely will be a lot better, being sort of the next sort of big time 6'8" ball handler, so like a LaMelo Ball. Maybe not so much like a Luka Doncic, but he is going to be such a good talent in today's NBA. I definitely cannot wait to see Cade Cunningham play. I'm sure he's going to be probably Rookie of the Year. He's hopefully going to help change the culture of whatever franchise he goes to. I'm sure he's probably going to go number one to Detroit, but even if not, he's going to be a great player no matter where he goes. Cade Cunningham, as of right now, the best 18-year-old in the NBA. Well, not yet in the NBA, I guess. Okay, so next up, we have 19-year-olds, and in my opinion, there are a lot of other good, really 19-year-olds. There are, last year's rookie class with Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman and players like that, but we can probably all agree that the best 19-year-old in basketball is probably the Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is probably the best 19-year-old in the NBA. I mean, not only just what he did to basically the entire Charlotte Hornet franchise, making them potentially an NBA playoff team in the next couple of years, from being, a bottom feeder team, is absolutely insane with his sort of skill set and how he does, and how he just makes a lot of his other players just better in today's NBA, which is really cool to see. He is great on the offensive end, scoring and finishing around the rim. His size, his defensive capability, just sort of like a lot of the same things we're talking about with Cade Cunningham, LaMelo Ball already is, and being that sort of next up and coming sort of big time ball handler like a Ben Simmons or a Luka Doncic, being a bigger sized ball handler is what the NBA is going to and looking for, and LaMelo Ball is the prime example about that. has and the defensive capability that LaMelo Ball has with the size and length, I think it's absolutely insane. His basketball IQ is already off the charts, sort of like already like a Alonzo Ball type of player, but holy cow, I cannot wait to see how amazing this kid just develops and continues to, dazzle, I guess, the NBA. I mean, this dude, maybe even this upcoming year, the year after that, he's going to be an all-star for years to come. I cannot wait for that. I think at the age of 19, LaMelo Ball is the best 19-year-old in the NBA. Alrighty, so next up we have 20-year-olds. And again, another very good sort of class of players. A lot of players like RJ Barrett. I guess you can throw in like a Tyler Hero or someone like that, but at the age of 20, which is so crazy that this dude is only 20 years old when he looks like he's about a 38-year-old man. We have Zion Williamson. I think it's quite obviously the best 20-year-old in today's NBA. Zion already having crazy seasons where he's averaging 22 points per game, 8 rebounds, and over a steal a game, shooting nearly 60% from the field. I mean, this dude in the paint is a beast. One of the best players already in the paint. The only thing I do wish that he would do is transition a little bit more to the outside. I think all great NBA players need to have at least some sort of outside game, and I think as Zion starting to develop more of a jump shot, maybe at least like a corner three, I think that really helped develop his game and make him even more of a threat, which would be awesome to see. But as an athlete, as a player, I think it's quite obvious Zion is going to be the future of the NBA. He is already such an exciting young player to see. I just cannot wait to see what else he can do. And I mean, like I said, already at age 20, already averaging nearly, upwards of 20 points per game is absolutely insane. How efficient he is as well. Already being the cornerstone, the best player in that franchise's maybe even history, at least the potential to be. I cannot think of any other player, like I said, at the age of 20 who has any crazy potential like that. I think we all forget, Zion had maybe even just as much hype as like LeBron James coming into the NBA that he had. It's awesome. I cannot wait. I hope he stays healthy. That's all he needs to do. And he's going to be an amazing player. So Zion, at the age of 20, the best 20-year-old in the NBA. Kind of not that controversial, I guess. And now, obviously next, we have the age of 21. And again, another really great group of NBA players, like John Morant. John Morant right now, as of right now at least, I think it is 21. You could maybe argue John Morant, obviously being a rookie of the year already. But if you are, keeping track of players' ages, I think you might also know that Luka Doncic is also right now 21 years old. Yes, Luka Doncic at the age of 21 is quite obvious the best player in the NBA. I mean, I think me and you already know who Luka Doncic is. I mean, this dude is already a star, a top MVP candidate of today's NBA. He's going to be probably the next great of the NBA's generation. I mean, you could probably argue Giannis Antetokounmpo is obviously an NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, two-time regular season MVP for sure. But man, Luka Doncic is also just a class act of his own, being such an amazing player on the offensive end. The way he facilitates and scores and shoots, and he controls the NBA game and flow and court is absolutely amazing to see. He's going to be that sort of next sort of like LeBron James sort of IQ of a basketball player. You can already see it at the age of 21, already basically carrying that Dallas Maverick franchise to the playoff performances and things like that. It's crazy to see. I mean, I love me some John Morant. I think he's going to be a great player, an all-star, all that stuff. But dude, Luka Doncic has the potential to be, again, one of the next NBA greats that we will be talking about for years to come. Already being a plus 25 point per game scorer, being a double-digit assist guy. He's going to be a next sort of triple-double crazy machine, like a LeBron James. Maybe not so much on that defensive end, which that's really the only thing you can really knack on Luka is on defense. But on the offensive end, he just controls so much. You can't deny that Luka is just an amazing player. All right, now we're going to start to get into more some of the juicier conversations and topics. At the age of 22, which has a very good sort of class of players. I mean, you have Trae Young, you have SGA, you have DeAndre Ayton, you have Colin Sexton, all very good young players with a lot of upside, a lot of potential. You could maybe even argue an SGA or even a Trae Young here in this conversation, but at least in my opinion, I would have to say the best player at the age of 22 is Jason Tatum. Again, you could definitely argue a Trae Young, obviously what he's shown in the playoffs this year with the Atlanta Hawks. Absolutely insane of a player, and I think that's also like a good answer, but at least for me, potentially, and also like with things to come, and also on the defensive end, I would have to say Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum as a two-way player is an absolutely insane talent, being a player we've seen scores 60 points in an NBA playoff game, but also being able to guard the opposing team's best player, and I love that in a go-to star player, a player who can step up in those big-time situations, guarding the opposing team's best player, but also putting in work by himself. I mean, you think of players like Kawhi and Paul George and all those really great NBA players who are great two-way players like that who do that on a nightly basis, which is obviously really cool to see. So, Jason Tatum, I think, has almost that complete NBA game. Definitely needs to be more of a leader, a vocal leader. Definitely needs to be more of a facilitator, making his teammates better. And I think he will obviously do that with, years to come. Like I said, he's only 22 years old. He has many years of still growing in today's NBA. But as of right now, already one of the best scorers in today's NBA, a great two-way player. Already being again sort of like a plus 25 point per game scorer, probably going to be his entire career, maybe even leading the league in scoring one year. I think he has that potential of a player, so which is really cool to see. I think just a two-way capability that Jason Tatum brings is what maybe puts me over the edge on him. Plus, again, potential-wise and everything like that, I think the best 22-year-old in the NBA is Jason Tatum. But there's also a lot of other really good answers like we went over. So next up we have 23, the age of 23. And again, a pretty decent list of players here like Bam Adebayo, Jamal Murray, John Collins, De'Aaron Fox, which is one of my favorite players in the NBA. But again, going off of a player who has really good two-way capability, the way he scores in today's NBA is absolutely amazing and can get a lot better. I would have to say the best 23-year-old in today's NBA is going to have to be Brandon Ingram. I think Bam Adebayo would maybe be the next best one because his defense is obviously, MVP, well, not MVP, Defensive Player of the Year sort of potential, and he probably will be winning a couple of them in his career, but Brandon Ingram on, again, the offensive end, an amazing sort of 26, 27 point per game scorer. Actually, last year he averaged 24, 7, and 6 with 60% true shooting percentage, which is sort of like his percentage of all his shooting stats, which is very good, very efficient, very nice. And even this past year was more of a down season, I guess you could say. I think that team is really trying to find its identity, and I think Brandon Ingram himself is trying to figure out what kind of player he wants to be. And I love Brandon Ingram being that sort of like a main go-to guy. I don't know how well it's going to fit in the Pelicans uniform, but I think as of right now, he's looking really good as a player. But can he be a lot better? I mean, yeah, a lot of these younger stars are going to start, having this sort of like forecoming of what they want to be, and Brandon Ingram is really in that situation right now, and, maybe he gets traded, maybe it just pops one day and it sort of happens, but I think he's going to get that point where he can be maybe even the number one, number two option of a championship caliber NBA team one day. I hope he does, and also his length, his defensive capability with that length is absolutely insane. I think we can all sort of agree that he's a great talent. Again, at the age of 23, Bam Adebayo is a really good player, but I mean, you can't really like play through a Bam Adebayo, at least in my opinion. Jamal Murray is a great player. Obviously, seeing what he's done in the playoffs 2 years ago, scoring multiple 40-plus point per game performances was absolutely insane. But I think consistently wise, maybe Brandon Ingram has that on him. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Brandon Ingram, the best 23-year-old in today's NBA. Alrighty, so I know before I was talking about, oh, now we're getting into the more juicier age as well. At the age of 24, we have players like Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, Domantas Sabonis. You could throw in like a D'Angelo Russell if you really wanted to. There is an absolute amazing pool of class here at the age of 24, and bro, you could argue any one of those top guys like Ben Simmons or Donovan Mitchell. It just sort of depends what floats your boat, I guess you could say. I'm gonna have to go with Devin Booker. Yes, Devin Booker, in my opinion, is probably the best 24-year-old in today's NBA. Now, again, it could be sort of controversial. Didn't really have the best sort of elimination game in Game 6 a couple nights ago in the NBA playoffs, the NBA Finals, but what do you expect from a dude who's only 24, his first ever playoff appearance, and he's already in an elimination game in the NBA Finals? Like, that's so insane. He still has a lot of time to grow and develop and everything like that. I feel like he's been in the league for 10, 12 years already. It's absolutely insane, but I really love the game of Devin Booker on the offensive end, the way he scores the ball, the way he facilitates, the way he can just always become a really good, almost like a point guard style of ball handler, which is really nice and cool to see. And even on the defensive end, wasn't that terrible. I mean, they even put Devin Booker on Chris Middleton for a lot of the NBA Finals, and he did a decent job. Definitely needs to be better on the defensive end for sure, but on the offensive end, an absolute crazy player. I mean, this dude scored, I think, 70 plus points. Was it 70, 71? A couple years ago in the NBA, so he has already shown he can be one of the best scorers of the NBA whenever he wants to be, but just a great player. He put up last year 23 points and 4 assists, while true shooting percentage of 60%, which is absolutely amazing. I think obviously Chris Paul being there and DeAndre Ayton sort of coming into himself, he had to take a little bit of a step back for the team to be a lot better. But I mean, let's just say he goes out and just wants to ball out again, like we know Devin Booker wants to ball out. This dude could easily average 28 to 30 points per game if he really wanted to do that. You can maybe argue a Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell's obviously a better defensive player. That's really all you could really put over for Donovan Mitchell. And then for Ben Simmons, obviously, he is the best, probably one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. So, also another thing, but just what I've seen from Devin Booker at his age, it's amazing to see how amazing that kid is, and just going to be better over years to come. I'm going to say Devin Booker, the best 24-year-old in the NBA. Alright, next up, we have the age of 25, and a good class, definitely nothing like the past one at the age of 24, but at the age of 25, we have players like Zach LaVine, Kristaps Porzingis, Karl-Anthony Towns, a pretty decent number of players, but this one's definitely a lot easier. At 25, it's got to be Nikola Jokic. Obviously, being an MVP sort of puts you in that sort of class, you know what I mean? So, at 25, we have Nikola Jokic, and obviously having a crazy year, averaging nearly 25 points per game, 11 rebounds and 10 assists, absolutely insane. Already being sort of a generational talent when it comes to being a center, being quite honestly the best passing big man of all time, being able to play inside but also outside, being able to shoot the ball very efficiently from the three-point range, being able to even create his own shot at the center position, which is very hard to find, at least in today's NBA, but can also play back to the basket, that sort of big-time, big-man role, being a great defender, well, a really good defender for how, big he is, but also being obviously a great facilitator, great rebounder. He has basically an all-around game. Sure, you could argue him being sort of a slow-down player, and then also you can also argue about him not really having the team built around him, sort of like a Karl-Anthony Towns, which Karl-Anthony Towns is an amazing player, but obviously team success also has something to do with it, I guess. But Nikola Jokic by himself is just an absolute talent. Again, this age is sort of a little bit easier, but he is the MVP, and he might even win another one in the next couple years to come. Who even really knows? So I'm going to say 25, Nikola Jokic. Kind of an easy one, to say the least. Again, super sorry if you can hear the background noise. I think someone's doing yard work right now, which is super annoying for how early it is. That's for someone to be doing that. But anyways, next up we have the age of 27. obviously probably being a player you could definitely answer as this age group. But at the age of 26, you already have a guy who is a two-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, and now NBA Finals MVP. It might be an easy one for a lot of people. It's got to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. Again, maybe even without his Finals MVP in that amazing Game 6 performance he put up, putting up a 50-piece in the NBA Finals. Absolutely insane. Played amazingly well, which is so funny because one of the main reasons Giannis got a lot of slander and slack was because of he was a player you couldn't play through at the end of the game, and he would not step up on the defensive end. Well, in Game 6, he put up 50 points and definitely led that Bucks team 1,000%, and also was guarding Chris Paul in the clutch during a lot of that crunch time scenarios, and I think he did an amazing job. I wish we see more of that Giannis going into next season, just that more of, hey guys, I'm the best player, let me put this on me, because I remember we chatted about it a lot, about that time he played the Brooklyn Nets, and this dude was guarding Jeff Green in the corner the entire crunch time. We do not need that Giannis. We need Giannis who is going to lock down and say, hey, I'm the best player, and a Defensive Player of the Year guy. Let's go that route too. He needs to be that sort of defender, and we finally saw that in the NBA Finals, which was absolutely amazing to see. Again, already a two-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year winner. I think it is average right here. He put up 26.6 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, over a steal a game. I'm pretty sure over a block a game as well. I think, again, Joel Embiid, an amazing player, almost MVP caliber, but Giannis already has 2 of them, and I think he's definitely not even done yet. And next up, the age of 27, and at the age of 27, an amazing score in Bradley Beal. You could definitely argue that, and that's kind of really all about it, at least from this list that I'm looking for, or from Bradley Beal is obviously a really good answer, but even though this player had a very, 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 very bad and down year, I think this next upcoming year we're going to see a revitalized version of this player, and it's going to be at the age of 27, Anthony Davis. Yes, kind of sad to think about how old Anthony Davis is getting. I thought he was always going to be that 25-year-old guy, sort of always looking upwards in his career, but already being 27. We have Anthony Davis, and again, this past year, not really having the best year, only averaging 24 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, which is funny. That's a down year for Anthony Davis, which would be the best year of a lot of people's NBA's career, which is very true, but defensively, I feel like Anthony Davis has always been there, always been an amazing player, and always will be an amazing NBA defender, being one of the best ones in the entire NBA. Probably should have won a Defensive Player of the Year winner, but anyways, but still, with all the offensive and having more of a down year, I think this next upcoming year we're going to see that sort of 2019, sort of style of Anthony Davis again, being that sort of almost 30-point per game scorer. He is going to need to take a bigger role if that Laker team is going to need to be a competitive team, obviously with LeBron, going into another year, probably going to be a lot more injury prone, going to need to probably take another step back in his career to sort of save him for the NBA playoffs and the finals, which hopefully with health and things like that, we can sort of see a nice healthy Lakers team and a great NBA playoffs next year. Anthony Davis is a big time role in that. I think he's already one of the greatest NBA power forwards of all time, at least talent-wise, the way he plays and controls the floor. I mean, he's basically a 6'10 guard. The way he can handle the ball, the way he scores, the way he shoots, everything that Anthony Davis does is absolutely amazing. Again, just a down year, a very unhealthy year for obviously a lot of players, but for most importantly, definitely Anthony Davis, who, man, even at the start of the NBA career, at the NBA season, didn't look anything like we saw of him before. I don't know if it was just because of the long, NBA bubble and the finals, and then jumping right into a new season, or I'm sure this is not going to be the Anthony Davis we see from now on. I'm really hoping to see a great performance next year at the age of 27. The best player, I would have to say, Anthony Davis. At the age of 28, a Tobias Harris, all at the age of 28. You could maybe argue Rudy Gobert obviously being a multiple-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year winner, but again, in my opinion, a very skillful, maybe even the most skillful player we've ever seen in the NBA when it comes to, ball control and handle and scoring and finishing and everything like that. At the age of 28, we have Kyrie Irving. Yes, Mr. Kyrie Irving. Pretty absolutely crazy this past season. He put up 27 points and 5 rebounds and 6 assists, starting to become more of a NBA 2 guard, which on the Brooklyn Nets, they've already come out and said that James Harden is the point guard. Kyrie Irving is the shooting guard, so that's sort of the conversation I think we're at now. Where would you put these guys? But I think Kyrie Irving's looking like a pretty good 2 guard in today's NBA, scoring nearly 30 points per game, which is absolutely insane. Like I already said, he's one of the most skillful NBA players when it comes to ball control, maybe even the best sort of dribbler in NBA history. An amazing 3-point shooter, an amazing sort of leader in voice and floor general. He's very good at that. And obviously a crazy talent on the Brooklyn Nets, obviously having that crazy big 3 with Harden and KD himself. Yikes, that team is definitely probably going to be favored to win the title next year as well if they are still healthy. And I mean, we've seen it throughout Kyrie Irving's entire career. I mean, this dude is probably already maybe a Hall of Famer. Actually, he probably is going to be in the Hall of Fame for just how amazing and skillful he's been since he's basically gotten the league. He's never really done anything really crazy with this game. He's just gotten better at everything that we've already seen from him since probably his rookie year in the NBA. So Kyrie Irving is just on a different level of skill when it comes to being a basketball player. He kind of has to be. Kyrie now at 29, we have players like Chris Middleton, CJ McCollum, but almost definitely for sure at the age of 29, Kawhi Leonard definitely is the best 29-year-old in today's NBA. I mean, honestly, if we're talking about two-way players of all time, Kawhi Leonard might be the best and most talented two-way player of all time. I mean, you could throw him up there with like a Scottie Pippen in that sort of conversation, and already being probably the best perimeter defender in the entire NBA, probably going to win a Defensive Player of the Year within maybe even next year of how great of a defender he is. Absolutely insane. He averaged last year nearly 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, which people really forget about how of a facilitator he's becoming. The only thing I really nag with Kawhi is that how much of a great player he is. He is obviously not a very talkative guy. He's not going to be your locker room voice of a leader. And at least with my best player, I would like to have my best player be sort of the vocal leader, the guy who really shows, hey guys, this is what we need to do. He's not going to really be that, but he will obviously show it with his effort and everything he puts on the court, which is also very amazing to see. Him adding more of a jump shot to his NBA game is pretty amazing. I mean, he might also be the best mid-range shooter in the entire NBA. He takes a lot of them, but makes them very good. People really nag on his athleticism. I think people really forget how fast and quick he is. Obviously, being an amazing defender, you got to be quick and fast. His basketball IQ is off the charts. He's going to be, an MVP candidate for years to come. He might even win one. Who knows for sure? Again, he's always unhealthy and always on the bench, which is, again, another thing people nag on him, but I think he's doing very well for himself. Kawhi Leonard at 29, the best player. Now we're getting into the sort of older generation of NBA talent at the age of 30. Yes, 30-year-olds. And you have players like Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, really good players. Gordon Hayward, Paul George, obviously probably the next best one there. Kemba Walker, Drew Holiday, who had a really good finals performance as well. But in no biased at all, at the age of 30, I would have to say, and I think it's not arguable, well, maybe it is, I think Paul George had a really good year last year, but at the age of 30, it has to be Damian Lillard. Yes, Dame Dollar, 30-year-olds. I think it has to be him. I think obviously with Damian Lillard having it basically coming into the NBA and always being that great sort of player, but even nowadays averaging nearly 30 points per game and like 8 assists. It's just absolutely insane what that dude can do greatest player in the franchise's history, and if he does go to any other team in the NBA, he's the #1 guy on that team as well. So, I mean, Damian Lillard is just a class act, a great player, an MVP caliber player. If you don't want to agree with that, go for it. But he definitely is, I think, at 30 years of age, it kind of has to be Damian Lillard. Now, on to the age of 31. I know we're getting into the old guys now. Age of 31, players like DeMar DeRozan and like Jimmy Butler as well. At the age of 31, this one's also kind of easy. Kind of has to be James Harden, which obviously this past year didn't have a very great season, obviously being injured for most of it, averaging nearly 25 points per game, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, which is absolutely insane. I think for James Harden, it just comes down to being healthy, and if he can stay healthy for next year, again, he was probably most likely going to win the MVP last year if he would have just stayed healthy, and I 1000% agree with that, and I think it will happen. I think definitely next year he might be the #1 contender for winning the MVP again if he just stays healthy. He's an amazing scorer, amazing facilitator. The way he controls the floor again is he's at that elite sort of tier and level of player. I'm very excited to see what he will do with maybe a more fully healthier season. I mean, what he's done over his career as well, being a guy who can go, score a 60-point triple-double type of game is just, it's absolutely insane. Some 2K type of level of skill, but on the offensive end, maybe the best player in the NBA. As a total, as a whole offensive game, scoring and facilitating, all that stuff. Definitely a better defender than what people give him credit for. Definitely deflections and playing the passing lanes and things like that. Very good at it. Yeah, James Harden, 31, kind of also an easy one. At the age of 32, yes, the age of 32 is where we start getting into a lot of controversy, and because at the age of 32 you have players like Russell Westbrook, but also more importantly, no offense, you have Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. So you could really argue either of those guys. I do not care if you pick Steph Curry here or if you pick Kevin Durant. Either one is the right answer. It's a great answer. But again, for me personally, oh god, man, I have no idea. Steph Curry or Kevin Durant, they're both the same age. I guess, at least for me, as of right now, from what I've seen from last year, obviously being in their age range, I might say Kevin Durant. I think slightly by Kevin Durant, like barely anything, and not only because of like team success and all that stuff, but also just again, defensively, an amazing player. And I mean, we have seen KD and Steph Curry on the same team together, and you could argue it, but I think KD was just the better player when they were even on the same team. I would just personally say, obviously, a 6'11", 7-footer who plays like Kevin Durant is just an absolute insane level of NBA talent. Nonetheless, definitely that sort of crazy sort of NBA 2K player. Last year, he averaged 29 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, and 5 assists. And I mean, just the way this guy scores is so easy. Definitely maybe the best scorer in the NBA, obviously up there with, James Harden, players like that. But man, KD makes it look so stupidly easy. It's absolutely insane. Again, you can definitely offer up Steph Curry. I think Steph is a great answer here. It's definitely another good answer, obviously having another really great MVP candidate season, having a very bum team around him, obviously with injuries and things like that. But KD is still showing that he is still an amazing player. Obviously, probably should have won a title this year with that Brooklyn Nets team, but obviously with injuries and all that stuff happening, didn't really turn out the way that it should have been. Obviously the same thing with the Golden State Warriors. Man, that's such a tough conversation and topic, but I think just for me personally, I would have to say Kevin Durant. Let me know yours, I guess, down in the comments. And now for the next couple of age groups, no offense, but the older you get, not so much happens really. At the age of 33, not a lot of really great players. I'm looking at a list here, and they have Mike Conley as the best 33-year-old, which makes sense. Mike great two-way player, but really sort of becoming more of a jump shooter, a more better facilitator. Really liking how Mike Conley is becoming. So at 33, you have Mike Conley. At 34, probably gonna have to be Kyle Lowry, which is crazy how old Kyle Lowry is. You only really have players like Goran Dragic and Rudy Gay. I mean, nothing super crazy, no offense to them, but Kyle Lowry, probably the best 34-year-old. At 35, this one's a very easy one. It's definitely Chris Paul. Chris Paul, I mean, oh man, I feel so bad for Chris Paul and what happened to him and that team. I mean, Chris Paul had a really good Game 6, and it really sucks that the younger players of the Phoenix Suns just couldn't, I don't want to say handle that pressure, but they really couldn't handle that pressure. I mean, Ayton had a really crappy game. Booker had a crappy game. I mean, it was just, Chris Paul really stood up and really stood out during that game, and it really sucked that no one else could really join him in that effort. But, I mean, it's easily Chris Paul at that age. And, again, at age 36, the player everyone is still chasing after and trying to stop and build super teams to beat is LeBron James. I mean, LeBron James easily the best old player probably of all time. This dude is still averaging, you know, crazy numbers of 24, 8, and 8. I mean, come on, dude. This dude is averaging MVP level of numbers, and he probably could have won the MVP last year again if he just would have stayed healthy. Quite easily, just he's one of the GOATs. He could be the GOAT if in your conversation. He definitely is. He's definitely the best player to ever touch a basketball, and the way he just controls the floor, controls the game. He's the greatest leader in NBA history. This dude is just absolutely insane of an NBA talent. LeBron James at his age, that's a done deal, no duh, and he probably is maybe even still the best player of everyone in the entire NBA. So, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. 36, LeBron James. So, make sure you guys comment down below. Maybe a conversational type of player. I mean, again, that KD and Steph Curry conversation was very tough, and there are other really good ones that we were talking about. So make sure you comment down below. Maybe ones that you would agree with, not agree with. That's what makes this fun. Make sure you like the video if you do like the video, and also subscribe to the channel. Sorry if you could hear all the background noise in today's video. It's just not a great day to film videos, but I hope you guys still enjoyed it nonetheless. And I'll see you